Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for um, thank you for joining our live here. We are going to get rocking and rolling, and today we have some good information. We are going to be talking about rental rates, where the housing market is going here, and some development in Phoenix as well. There's always some good stuff going here in Phoenix that we want to talk about, and sports as well, sports development. So let's dive in, guys. Right now, it's been a rocky road here in terms of interest rates, guys. Right, that's going to be a continually consistent story that we're going to be covering as rates continue to incline and decline, and what's going on with inflation and all that fun stuff. But today we're going to focus more so on rental rates. All right, so let's go over an article that actually was I ran by, which I thought was a really good article. I'm going to pull it up here if I can. Let's see here. Here it is. And we're going to share it with you right now. Okay, guys. So here we go. Valley rents declined for third straight month, but pandemic era growth has been high, reports find. So let's go through this a little bit here, guys. This is interesting. Now, if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to put it in the chat, and I'd be happy to address that. I always love seeing where people are calling or listening from. So feel free to go ahead and do that. But rental rates, guys, the housing market, we talked about that last week. The housing market is interesting. It's in flux right now. There's a lot of people on the sidelines waiting to buy or not buy because they're waiting for the best time to possibly time the market. But before we go on the rental rates, Jerome Powell was quoted as saying something along the lines that he's not going to stop this fight of raising rates to fight inflation until housing prices for a home that you own actually equal prices for rent. Now, that doesn't make any sense, though, which is a kind of confusing statement that he made the other day, because right now, if you're going to buy a house for the same price or same value of one that you would rent, the rent rate in many cases is still a little bit less. Why? Because as rates go up, the monthly payments are increasing. And right now, as we're going to cover in this article right here, rents, at least in the Phoenix area, have now started to stagnate. Okay. They can only go as high as people can afford with wage growth and so on and so forth. So when people's buying power for their essentials, other essentials besides housing, like food and clothing, increase and erode their amount of money they have, as wage growth cannot keep up with inflation, then obviously something has to give. A bubble is going to burst. And so in this situation, you're having a bunch of people, the renter pool out there, saying, uncle, all right, I only have so much money. I can't go much higher on average for these rental rates. So here we go. Let's cover this article. Valley rents decline for third straight month. So what this is saying is that rents in Phoenix Metro decreased slightly in September, but they're still up significantly since 2020. And it talks about the apartment list October rent here, okay, and so on and so forth. So let's keep that trend. That trend is true at 69 of 100 largest U.S. cities, but Phoenix drop was higher than national 0.2 decrease, and Phoenix ranked number 81 for month-over-month rent growth. So what's interesting is it's Phoenix is this market that rent rates are actually starting to decline slightly, but it's still one of the cleanest shirts in the closet, if you will, right? So, that being said, what the Fed is doing a good job of with raising rates is they are doing a good job of taking the landlord, the investor, out of the game, right? Because obviously investors will stop buying homes as well if the capital they can borrow is not as cheap as it once was, because according to rental rates, it's not going to cash flow. Now, obviously, if rental rates kept going, then investors and landlords like yours truly would keep buying. But in this case, it's not that I'm not buying, guys. It's just that it's harder and harder to find a deal that's going to make sense from a return on investment and cash flow, because the cost of capital is continuing to increase. So you have a lot of people right now that are investors on the sidelines waiting. In fact, it's funny because the economist on the Cromford report, she was saying in a conference or seminar we were just attending that she was actually presenting to a group full of local investors at investment real estate group meetup. And they're all happy because they have a bunch of cash on the sidelines and they're waiting for Q4 to completely implode, which is probably not going to happen, but they can dive back in with cash and buy some things that are hopefully on sale. We'll see. There could be some opportunity there. All right, but what they go on to say here, guys, is that after the COVID-19 pandemic, obviously rental rates increased dramatically. Why? Because inflation did too. And as you know, inflation goes up, it increases values of homes as well as rental rates. Apartments List found that rents are up 33.2% in Phoenix since March 2020, while surrounding suburbs rents are up 34.9%. Most of that growth happened between 2020 and 2021. Pretty crazy, when rents rose 5.8% in Phoenix and 7.8% in the metro suburbs. This gap began to emerge quickly as the pandemic onset. So obviously what happened, as you guys know, with the pandemic, a lot of people started rolling out to the suburbs and buying homes because they didn't have to be in the urban center of the city to obviously, maybe for their employment or for convenience. So they said, screw it, I need some space, because obviously being around COVID, being around a lot of people, that was not preferred, right? You had to have your 6 feet distance. By the way, you guys remember those days? Seemed like forever ago, but man, 6 feet, I don't know. It's crazy. But now we just give people hugs and handshakes. At one point, they said we're never going to shake hands again. And why would you ever have to do that? That's crazy, right? I'm glad we're shaking hands right now. In fact, if I was face to face with you guys and you wanted to, I'd shake your hand. And then I could use some hand sanitizer. Just kidding. I wouldn't do that. Okay. But so people will go to the suburbs, guys. This mass migration in Phoenix, especially, they go to the suburbs and they would be renting homes or buying homes, in the suburbs. And that's why the housing market started to take off, right? Well, that left a lot of rentals in urban areas like city of Phoenix, not the suburbs, right? With vacancy rates, as well as, other cities like New York City, Chicago, that has even more of a downtown nucleus. It left a lot of those vacant. So therefore, rent started to, stagnate at that time. Well, since then, rents have dramatically increased. Why? For a lot of reasons. Inflation is one, but you had a lot of people on the sidelines that wanted to wait to time the market and buy. Guys, I have several clients right now that I distinctly remember saying, about, July, August of 2020, when the V-shaped recovery was just starting, right? That they were like, I'm going to wait. Homes are inflated. Values have gone up too much. At that time, it was like, probably 5% over the course of a couple months, which, by the way, is pretty good. But who could ever foresaw, a 33, 34% increase of appreciation in just 1 year in markets like Phoenix, Tampa, Charlotte, Austin, Texas, these places. So it happened. And so a lot of people got left on the sidelines because they were trying to time the market and didn't know when the time was right to actually jump in. But you look at apartment list here, a couple of things. Let's look at some median rents. That's kind of interesting, right? Median rents in Phoenix for a 1-bedroom apartment is $1,277 a month. Right now it's $1,483 for a 2-bedroom. Okay, right there. And it's grown 3% from September 2021. Now, last year's rents, look at this, guys, were up 28.9% over the previous September rent month. So that's incredible, guys. That's a huge increase of rental rates. So, you have Glendale, which right now is the cheapest median price at $1,453 for a 2-bedroom apartment. Glendale actually had the most growth at 4.4%, even though they're still the cheapest. So that's interesting, right? Now you have median rent was highest in Scottsdale, shocker. Okay, it was $1,850 for a 2-bedroom apartment. In Surprise, actually, believe it or not far behind at $1,840. That's kind of shocking because Surprise typically has been more an affordable suburb of the Phoenix area, but for rent, not so much. Scottsdale was the only Valley city to report a month-over-month rent increase most recently here of 0.3%. Everywhere else had a small decrease across Phoenix. So Phoenix 3% increase was outpaced by a nationwide jump of 7.5%, guys. So the nationwide jump of 7.5% is significantly higher than Phoenix's 3% increase of rent. So that's good if you're a Phoenician. But Dallas, look at this, 12.3, Albuquerque, 8.8, San Antonio, 7.8% rent increase. So there's something to be said about being in Phoenix right now. Even though rents are high, it's still not increasing at the same rate that other major metroplexes across the country are doing so. And there's still a lot of opportunity. Okay, so now we are going to actually talk about some development. This is kind of cool, guys. This is some off-beaten path, article here that I think is kind of cool for you guys to look at. But I'm glad I have a chance to read it and show it to you guys because it has to do with one of my favorite things, which is sports. Now, it's not football, but it's sports. And Phoenix sports, as you know, we have all 4 major sports here in Phoenix. We have the Phoenix Coyotes, which is hockey. We have the Arizona Diamondbacks, which is baseball. Arizona Cardinals, which is football. And then we have the Phoenix Suns. Oh, how could you forget the Phoenix Suns? They're probably our best team right now for the professional sports scene. But we are going to cover a couple articles here. I thought this one's kind of cool here. Let me share my screen with you here. Okay. I'm going to pause this and get the screen up for you guys. Here we go. All right. Coyotes on campus. Check this out, guys. Did you know that the Phoenix Coyotes will be playing in a collegiate stadium that only seats, I think, about 4,500 people this upcoming fall? Actually, right now, NHL season just kicked off. This is interesting, though, right? So you have this proposal in which they're trying to find a new arena and build one, of course, for the Phoenix Coyotes because they are somewhat homeless at this time. So for those you don't know, Phoenix actually was on a 15-year lease for their arena over the past 15 years to the city of Glendale. And that lease came up. And guess what? They chose not to renew them. That must have took a little bit of guts. But they did not renew them. So you have this new facility that Arizona State college hockey team is going to be unveiling this fall. It's a 5,000-seat facility on the campus of Arizona State University. It just happens to be the only D1 hockey program in the American Southwest. Pretty cool. Hockey's big, guys. You would think being in the desert, it's not very big. Hockey is huge here. So if you have a child that's in hockey and you're living up north somewhere, Minneapolis, Milwaukee, whatever, and you want to play some hockey, or if your son or daughter have a chance at a good career in hockey, let's say, there is amazing hockey in Phoenix. So come on down and check it out. Give me a call. We'll connect you. We have a lot of friends who are in the hockey scene, even though my kids personally are not, primarily because I could never ice skate. Yeah, so it's bad. So I took my kids there to try to see if they might like to play hockey when they're little, and they fell down a couple times because guess who drove them down on the ice? Right here. Yep, that's me. I took my own kids down. They're probably 5 on skates. So ever since then, they were out on hockey. But that could have been kind of by purpose, right? Because hockey's expensive. Man, hockey's expensive. Yeah. Ken, I see you. Hockey is expensive, but you said it's a great hockey. Yeah, great. See, we have proof. I'm not just talking out of my, Ken is verifying that we have great youth hockey in Phoenix for being in the desert, especially. You would never think, but there are some extensive and really good hockey programs down here in Phoenix. All right. So back to the article here. I thought it was kind of cool. So obviously the Coyotes struggles right out west in Glendale. There's the headline right there. They were born in 1996 down here, and they've done okay. Now, the stadium they're previously in with the city of Glendale on lease was 17,000 seats. Okay, now that's about right for an NHL team. They're going to 5,000, so it'll be interesting. But you know what? Because they didn't fill the stadium very often, because last year they were one of the worst teams in the NHL, this actually might be kind of cool, right? They'll probably jam-pack that stadium, and it will probably be a really, really cool environment. So I'm excited to actually take my sons to the game, even though I can't skate. Did I mention I can't skate? It's very hard, but I appreciate what those guys do because it is tough. All right, so this is the deal that this whole article is going about their new facility and where they're going to possibly, hopefully, build the new stadium. But look at here, there's the rendering of it. Now this is going to be in Tempe, as you can see, Tempe Arena, and the developer is talking about doing some sort of mixed use project. So you're going to have obviously apartments, parking garage, businesses, and so on and so forth to make this a really cool area. And I believe this is going to be off the corner of Rio Salado and was it Southern? I can't remember exactly let's see what the article says here, guys. Yeah, they're talking about how the Phoenix Coyotes have a low revenue because, again, they just don't fill the seats, guys. So Tempe, here we go. They're trying to their negotiations, and they've been actually in negotiations with Tempe for quite some time now, since 2021, early part of it. So $2.1 billion is what it'll cost. It's a mixed-use development, 46 acres. city-owned land that is currently a landfill. Guys, this is actually kind of common in Phoenix. There's been multiple commercial developments that are very nice that you would have no idea as you drive by that were previously a landfill. I'll give you a hint on one. Tempe Marketplace that used to be a landfill. I kid you not. All right, but you have a music venue, hotels, retail shops, office space, and residential units. So it'd be kind of cool if they get this done, guys. The Coyotes, to be good, I think, need to have a space like this. And by the way, let's talk about geographical location. In Tempe, if it goes there, they will now be centralized in which all the fans from the West Side and the East Valley can all come together on a random Tuesday night to watch the Coyotes play hockey. So I think it'd be a phenomenal a deal to have them be in Tempe. And so hopefully the voters will vote for it and they'll find the money to the tax revenue to put them down there, because that'd be great to have a good hockey team in Phoenix, because the youth leagues are actually really, really good. All right. Now, there's a couple other articles on here I want to share with you guys in residential real estate. Let's talk about this for a second. All right. So now we're gonna pull up an article that's on the Phoenix Business Journal here. That's kind of controversial if you're in Phoenix, Arizona. There's our man, Greg Haig. Now, I've met Greg years ago. Nice guy. And he is a hard worker, and he's trying to do big things in the residential real estate space. Now, he is spending a lot of money, and he's advertising a lot to the tune of, I think, about $2 million a month here in Phoenix alone, a month. His company is 72 Sold. It's a marketing company. And the whole premise of the 72 Sold concept, guys, is to sell a house in 72 hours. So it worked really well when the market was on fire, right? There'd be 17 offers on a property on a given weekend. And in fact, the house would sell in 72 hours. So the timing of that message was great. Now, what's interesting is here at the Cook and Associates Real Estate Advisor Group, we were doing the exact same thing. We were doing 72 hours. In fact, we actually did 48 hours. It's just a play on words, but we were 48 hours sold, and we were getting home sold in 48 hours all day long, every single week, every single weekend, I should say. But we didn't have, and most agents don't have that big of a blowhorn, right? They're not spending that much money to be able to advertise that much. But you got to give it to this guy. Got to give him props, because he obviously, went big on this, and the timing was right in the marketplace, and it worked. So, this article here is about him being a disruptor. Now, I don't know if I agree with a disruptor, because to me, a disruptor is someone who changes the game of how an industry does business. And that's really not what happens here. This is a great marketing message. Now, the crazy part is, because he spent so much money and he's on TV a lot and so on and so forth, everyone knows the message of 72 Sold, the marketing company of 72 Sold. Even if the house doesn't sell in 72 hours anymore, because the average days on market now in the Phoenix area is over 45 days. So very few are actually selling that quick. It's still a strong message. So to anyone who's out there marketing, this is maybe a marketing message or a aha, right, to you, that if you have a strong enough message for the time of the market at that time, and you spend enough money, you could have staying power. And it looks like right now he very well may have staying power. But I wanted to bring this up because a lot of people go, hey, how's Open Door doing for you? How is Zillow Offers back when they were still out there, right? They went bankrupt. They went, they're gone. And OfferPad and 72 Sold. And they put 72 Sold in the same bucket as Open Door, but it's not, guys. Open Door is an iBuyer, okay? They are straight to the consumer, and they try to buy your house for less, and therefore turn around and mark up the price a little bit and make some money. That's not what 72 Sold does. They don't buy homes. They just say they can sell your home in 72 hours. And if they don't, I don't know what happens. I guess you can choose to cancel, or you can choose to stay with them, and they can sell your house whenever the right buyer comes along for the price that you want. So it's like any other situation in that time. So I would say this, guys, a good agent in this market needs to have multiple options for sellers. So what Greg did, he came along and he provided a solution for people looking to, obviously get their house sold quickly. So as agents, what we need to do, what we do here at Cook and Associates, is we make sure we have multiple different options. So when we sit down across the table with somebody, the first thing we talk about are those options. Do you want to list the property traditionally, and therefore that should net you the most money? Do you want a cash offer guaranteed to close very, very quickly on your property? Do you want our concierge program, in which your house needs some geez, your house needs some work, and we are going to spend our money, okay, to fix it up, our contractors and everything to fix it up, and be able to get your house to sell for money, because obviously a house that's remodeled is going to sell for a lot more than a house that is not. And when that happens, we would obviously be partners with you, and we would obviously share part of the profits in that concierge program. But it works really, really well. It makes the seller much, much, much more money. And then, of course, last but not least, we have the option of simply leasing the property out for you if you want to remain a landlord. So, guys, you have to have options these days for people that are looking to buy or sell. And that's what Greg did. So you got to give it to him from that standpoint. All right. And then with that, guys, those are the main things I wanted to cover today, because I think it's very well. Okay, there's one more thing I want to cover. Okay, and this is very, very important. Okay, I'm going to share this with you right now. Shaq's Big Chicken. Okay, very important. And other restaurants to show up at the new ASU hockey arena. Okay, now I just wanted to cover that because we're on this hockey kick, and I saw this article. I wasn't going to share it, but you know what the heck. ASU, their hockey arena is going to be awesome on the campus. And this article talks about the different cold beers and cheeseburgers and different restaurants that are going to be going in at the arena, Mullet Arena. So you have Shaq's Big Chicken, which I'm really excited about, and just some really cool things here that are going on with this 5,000 seat arena for the hockey program at ASU. All right, guys. So we have gone a little bit shorter today. We went long last week. But let me know what you think. If you have any comments about some of these things, if you have any questions about the housing market and where it's going, we can always talk about that. In fact, we could actually talk about that for a little bit if you guys would like to. We could actually do that because I think it's important to go over that really quick. Let me show you, if you don't mind, maybe a couple screenshots of where the market is today. Okay. In fact, I'll just give you a summary. How about that? We'll keep this short and sweet today, guys, because I know we've already gone, about 20 minutes here. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. And we are going to pull this up. This is a summary of the presentation we heard today from the Cromford Report, which is the leading housing economist in all of Phoenix, Arizona. Here we go. Market conditions. Here we are. Week 41 in October. All right. September, October is seasonally the best time to be a buyer. Fewer competitors, more choice. So guys, real quick, let's talk about that. There was an example earlier that I heard, and I want to share it with you guys. And it's a real example. It's actually a story that we're going through right now with one of my personal friends and clients. Right now, is it a good time to buy? I don't know. I'm going to wait. Well, you should maybe think about buying because maybe the rates are a lot more expensive. The rates are higher, which they are, right? Maybe you got a 3.5% rate last year at this time, and now your rate's going to be 7%. Okay. So your payment maybe is up $800 or $1,000 a month, which is not chump change. That's a lot if you buy that same house for $500,000 now. Okay. However, that same house that you want to buy for $500,000 back a year ago, by the time you had 10 offers on it, may have been bid up to, $550,000. It's very plausible. That happened all the time down here in Phoenix. Okay. Scottsdale. So you lose out an extra you pay an extra $50,000, but you get the house and you have a good monthly payment, let's say, right? At a good rate, at least. Well, you couldn't negotiate any terms. You had a house that needs work, let's say, because you couldn't negotiate any repairs. And so you pay an extra $50,000. Now you have a bunch of extra money out of your pocket, but you have a lower monthly rate. Well, now you're going to have a higher monthly rate, higher payment. However, that same house, potentially that was going to cost you, $550,000 in that ballpark, now could be as low as $480,000, $475,000, or $470,000 in that ballpark for that same house potentially today. Now your rate's going to be higher, your payment's going to be higher, but if you could save $50,000 to $70,000 on the purchase of your house and get some repairs done on the property, so you don't have to put more money out of pocket for those, and be able to refinance potentially when the market or the rates do come back down, because that's what most smart money is saying, the rates are going to come back down, then effectively, isn't that a good option too? So all the smart money that's saying the rates are going to come back down and so on and so forth, that follow us stuff, it's a matter of time. It could be another year, it could be another 6 months, could be another 3 months. Some people are saying, right? Rates could come back down and soften back down into the 5s potentially. But regardless, all the smart money is saying that it's still a good time to buy because appreciation is still forecasted, not by me, I don't have a crystal ball, but still forecasted to finish out at around 5 to 8% in Phoenix this year, and for the next several years, anywhere from 3 to 5% annually. Okay. That obviously could change based on a lot of economic conditions. But the point is, it's probably highly unlikely that property values go down over time because this is not 2007 all over again in Phoenix. Okay. So if you have the chance to save a bunch of money, even though our monthly payment's high, but what if you got the seller to actually give you a 1 or 2-1 rate buy down, in which your payment that normally be $1,000 more a month now would still be down there in the $700 to $600 more a month range. Okay. For 1 to 2 years. And then you refinance out to market rates that hopefully are back down to 5. That's a possibility. Something to think about. Okay. So if the right house comes along, maybe you should consider pulling the trigger and then be looking to refi if you get great terms right now. Okay. Looking to refi when rates do drop. Okay. I want to just make that known, because that is a powerful story that needs to be told, guys, of anyone who's looking to potentially buy anytime real soon. All right. Let's look at the summary over here again. Okay. I'm going to share it with you back on the screen. Okay. So 66% of active listings were purchased more than 2 years ago. That's good. Why is that good? Because that means that instead of people with maybe, I don't know, at this point, 15% appreciation and equity in their house, a lot of homeowners have much more than that because they bought their house over 2 years ago. So you're talking a lot of people having 25 to 30% plus appreciation and equity in their property, which is good. That's very good. So it doesn't mean that everyone just bought in the last 2 years and now they're just working with this thin line of equity, right? Buyers get high rates of concessions with iBuyers and builders. Okay. So pro tip, if you're looking to buy a house, maybe you call your local realtor and you ask them to run a search just for open door properties or offer pad properties, because they're hurting right now, guys. Like I said last week, we have a client under contract right now for about $130,000 less than what Open Door actually paid for the property just about 5 months ago. Yeah. True story. Okay. Inflation measures have not risen significantly for 3 months. So that's good. At this rate, 2% inflation, which is what Jerome Powell said he wants to accomplish, the Fed chairman. Okay. 2% inflation could be reached by March 2023 here in Phoenix at its current rate, which if that happens, that means potentially rates start coming back down by then. So that would be something that we will definitely watch. Okay. Bad news. Interest rates rose sharply. Obviously, that erodes buyers' purchasing power. Open door sales dragging down average sales price. Okay. So guys, you have right there, a lot of the iBuyers are the ones bringing the sales price down for the average, not mom and pop who live next door to you. Okay. Landlords, median leasing price declining. We talked about it. Okay. Measures that change before sell price measures respond. We are now well into stage 3 of concessions. List price weekly reductions, days on market prior to contract, sales with sellers concessions. Quite a few of those happening. Okay. Welcome to a delicate balance. I love how she put that, right? This is Tina right here with the Chronicle Report. Fewer new listings are coming on the market and balancing out fewer contracts. Okay. Good for price stability, but low contract activity starves the industry. So guys, the industry all works better when there's more transaction count. Okay. When there's higher transactions. So right now, I think last month there was about 5,800 homes that sold in Maricopa County. On a good month, on average, you're looking at about 8,000. When the market's crazy, it could be 10 to 11,000 a month. So that's where we're at right now. Okay. What's reasonable to expect this month? Fewer contracts due to rate hikes. Look for new loan programs to emerge, and so on and so forth. Okay. So that is interesting, I thought, regarding that. So I'm going to move over now. Another screenshot I think is very important that you guys can hopefully see. Okay. This is very important. I'm going to show you from the Greater Phoenix Economic Council what is going on. Okay. If I can get this up. All right. Here we go. I'm going to share this with you guys here. Bear with me, because I think you're going to like this. Here we go. Okay. Greater Phoenix Economic Council, as of Thursday, October 6th. Right now, there are 56 active international prospects looking to move part of their company to the Phoenix area. Guys, that is huge. Okay. So, and they're naming them by country right here on the world map. So Taiwan 8, TSMC, I mean, huge, right? Israel 3, China 4, Canada 7, UK 8, and so on and so forth. Okay. So if there are 56 countries looking to move part of their operation to Phoenix, I just don't see, guys, how Phoenix is going to slow down anytime in population, right? It's going to continue to grow. So I wanted to share that with you. I got one more I want to share with you real quick, and that has to do with those companies. Who are those companies? Where are they coming from? Okay. Put this up on the screen for you. Here are some of the recent announcements. Okay. So you have Advent. I don't know what half these companies are. I'll be honest with you guys, right? But they're big companies and they're coming to Phoenix. So I'm just being real with you. Very, very authentic, right? Bristol Myers Squibb. I know that one. Who doesn't, right? But there's some companies here. You can see, I won't name them all for you guys. And it talks about this part of the city they're looking to move to. So here's a Scottsdale, here's a Gilbert, here's a Phoenix, here's a Tempe, here's a Glendale, here's a Mesa. So guys, this is huge. Again, it's just more proof of putting that Phoenix is going to continue to grow. So if you are an investor, I'd be looking to invest and buy some more real estate, commercial or residential. If you are looking to get out of the rental game, and actually, because they're staggering, right? And they're stalemating and they're kind of slowing down, which is good if you're renting, but you're paying 100% interest, guys. Stop paying 100% interest and jump in on that. I mean, 7% is nothing compared to 100%, right? And then, of course, like we talked about, when the rates get better, you can look to refi. All right. That's my encouragement to you today. Okay. So Ken, thank you very much for commenting on our stream. I apologize, guys. We didn't have more about development, but we're going to wrap it up here because it's about that time, about 30 minutes is what I want to go. If anyone has more comments, I'll be sure to address them right now. Otherwise, we will see you guys next week at 3:00 Pacific Standard Time on YouTube Live, where we're going to be discussing some more about the housing market and watching what inflation's doing and interest rates as we head through the rest of quarter 4. All right, guys, take care and make it a phenomenal Thursday.